don't watch the new Odyssey movie until you hear this. And I'm going to spare you guys the time from watching all these other YouTubers talk about the Odyssey movie, and you can get it all here. And specifically, I'm going to go into 5 crazy things you did not know about the Odyssey movie, right? And so apparently, the movie is going to be based on a feminist interpretation of the original poem, race swaps to Elliot Page, a trans man playing Achilles. Can you believe that? All right. And not even a single Greek actor is in the cast. All right. So in this video, I'm going to reveal the 5 things, the crazy things you did not know about the new Odyssey movie. All right. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Kane. I'm the Silver Bachelor. This channel is 100% dedicated to dating advice for older guys and the women that want to understand them. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button and the notification button because I'm dropping videos every week. Woo! Okay, let's get into this video. So, for those of you that don't know me or haven't watched my other videos, I'm a marketing professional and I have quite an extensive background in PR. And this movie already, and hasn't even hit theaters, it's supposed to hit theaters July 17th, is a PR nightmare, and for good reason. And those 5 reasons that I'm going to get into right now on why it's a PR nightmare. And Christopher Nolan sadly has bent the knee to Hollywood ideology today. All right, so let's get into this video. So the movie, as I mentioned, is coming out July 17th. It has a $250 million budget. That's huge. And it's going to be entirely shot, or it has been entirely shot, in IMAX 70mm cameras. Cool. All right. That's pretty much where the good stuff ends. All right. So the movie actually takes place after the Trojan War. So if you've seen the movie Troy with Brad Pitt, it takes place after that movie, and apparently those soldiers, it took them 10 years to get back to Greece, and that's the time period. Now, Troy, as well as the Odyssey, is all based on Greek mythology, all right? And so the original poet, who is a legendary Greek poet, his name is Homer, and that's what the story, the Odyssey, is based on. And people are saying that the movie, or excuse me, the poem is based on 250 to 650 BC, all right? So the first point in the 5 things, the crazy things that you did not know about this movie, and if you did know some of these things, cool, but I'm sure there's a few things I'm going to go through that you have no idea about. All right, so first of all, this is a big one, is supposedly this movie, Christopher Nolan's take of the poem, is based on an English translation dated in 2017 by Emily Wilson. So one good thing about Emily Wilson is she was the first female to translate the Greek poem into English, and that's where the good ends. So Emily Wilson is a self-proclaimed feminist, and she said that her translation provides, I'm reading word for word, provides a distinct feminist perspective that removes patriarchal establishments added by earlier translators. And I'm thinking, this is 1200 BC. Duh, of course there's patriarchal elements, and you're trying to translate it through the lens of 2017. You can't do that. So already this movie is bound to fail if it's actually based on her translation and a feminist perspective, all right? So that's number 1. Number 2, this is one of the biggest controversies in the movie, and the commentators are talking about, and that is Helen of Troy. So if you have seen the movie Troy, Helen of Troy was white, a white actress, all right? And there was a reason for that. So now Helen of Troy is black, and it is a Kenyan actress, Lupita Nyong'o. She's 43, and you may not have seen her in the Black Panther movies, okay? So Helen of Troy was believed to have been the daughter of Zeus, and stories of her beauty have inspired artists and writers throughout the centuries, showing her as the ideal human female beauty, all right? Homer, in his poem, have repeatedly described her as white-armed. Now, I'm not talking about white-armed like your actual armed. White-armed means elite beauty, femininity, and of noble status. And that noble status, I want to talk about that in a moment here. Noble status. Now, remember, this movie is supposed to take place in 1200 BC. Well, pale skin was associated with aristocratic women who stayed indoors rather than laboring outside. And the people who labored outside were darker and perhaps even blacks, all right? So that's one thing. Second, Homer, again, this is from the original poem, has described Helen of Troy as being fair-haired. The word in Greek for fair-haired is xanthos, Xanthos. And the same word is to describe the hair of Achilles, all right? So the question is, what does fair-haired mean from that time and in that word? Well, fair-haired meant golden, honey-colored, light brown, auburn, reddish gold, sunlit, browned, or blonde. Okay, now remember, this is 1200 BC. So you might be asking yourselves, Silver Bachelor, how could this possibly be a black actress playing Helen of Troy if the descriptions of her? This is what I'm talking about, all right? And that's what has got a lot of people, their panties up in a bunch, and more than that, talking about this movie and trashing it because it doesn't even make sense. But Hollywood just seems to just discredit all things historical or based on facts from a book or a poem and just like, well, we're just going to do a race swap. So that's what's happening. And in fact, even Elon Musk, going back to Elon Musk, this is what he said about Christopher Nolan. He said Nolan's casting of Nyong'o is because he would be called a racist if he gave the most beautiful woman's role to a white woman. So there you have it. Now, fast forward to today, some fun facts, okay? Some fun facts is the reality is even most black women are trying to look more white than black. And if you don't believe me, check this out. Okay, from the nose jobs to the wigs with straight hair to the skin whitening treatments, this blew my mind when I researched this. So skin whitening treatments versus skin darkening treatments. And when I say skin darkening treatments, I'm also including tanning treatments, okay? The skin lightening treatment industry is $15 billion per year. That's right. Women that want to get their skin lightened, because it's pretty much all women, not men, it's a $15 billion year business. Compared to skin darkening treatments, including tanning creams and self-tanners and all these things to darken your skin, is a $2 billion business. So even women that are, in terms of their perspective of beauty, is their perspective of beauty equals, in their mind, someone of lighter skin, okay? Anyways, enough about all that. And the big thing is that if you question, this is what's also happening here in this movie. If you are even questioning the race swapping that's going on, blatant race swapping without any regard for the culture of the time, 1200 BC, what the poet described as Helen of Troy, then you're called a racist. All right, God. All right, number 3. This is also one of the controversies about the movie, is Achilles. So Achilles is supposed to be the greatest warrior and almost of immortal demigod status. And there's a lot of people saying this may happen, may not happen, whatever, but there's a lot of things leading towards this is actually going to happen. And that is Elliot Page, who is trans, playing Achilles. Now, remember, Elliot Page, still a woman technically, and weighs 110 pounds and is 5'1". How the heck is that possible for Elliot Page to play Achilles? The good news is that now the new Achilles will be immune to prostate cancer. Anyways, Elliot Page, if you're not sure who the heck this is a Canadian actress and came out as being a transgender man in December 2020. Elliot Page is also known for Juno, and movies that Elliot Page has played in: Juno, Inception, and Umbrella Academy. All right. But again, this is one of those things where how dare anyone question the casting of Achilles and a trans man, let alone Elliot Page, because now if you do that, you even question the rationale behind the casting. Now you're going to be called transphobic. All right. So moving along. Number 4, modern English. That's what's happening in the movie. Now, can you imagine watching supposed to be an ancient movie based on 1200 BC, and they're saying phrases like bro or my dad as an example. So, or like even a line where he says, "What if I don't come back?" I mean, what soldier at that time period would say, what if I don't come back? The soldiers at that time, remember, it was glorious to die in battle, all right? This is just one of the other things in the movie with the English and the, reduction of the masculinity that's happening in that movie, all for what Hollywood wants to show and reveal. All right. And yet, here's Christopher Nolan, who's mentioned this many times. He says, I want to stay true to the times of that era with no orchestra, and I'm going to use real armor. Okay, but yet you're doing you're doing a race swap, you're doing trans, being Achilles, and you're using modern English. Complete hypocrisy. So the cast, if you're not familiar with who's actually in the movie, we've got Robert Pattinson, who played Batman. You've seen him before. Charlize Theron. You've got Tom Holland, who was Spider-Man, and you've got Zendaya from Dune. And I don't understand. Why is Zendaya in almost every single movie now? And she only has one facial expression. Have you noticed that? She's like got this kind of angry look. So, Anne Hathaway and Travis Scott. Travis Scott. This is like, it's absolutely just, it's sad. It's really sad. And I'm going to leave you guys shortly with this because I'm a big fan of Christopher Nolan and just all of these things that I've seen and I've heard online, and that it's almost just making me laugh. I might actually watch the movie when it comes out for free on streaming somehow, but so far this is probably going to be a huge disappointment to the fans and a huge blow to Chris Nolan, and it's going to be a blockbuster bust. But I want to hear from you in the comments what you think of all this, and I did want to do a topic on this video because it's related to when you're out and you're having conversations with women and they start calling you names because you just point out some facts. And that's what's happening now to the people that are actually critiquing the movie, is they're being called racist, they're being called transphobic just because they're questioning the casting decisions. All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.